Okay, today we're going to present our preliminary design review, and our project is Predator Ridge Puzzle Box. Our team is Hannah Dell, Melissa Kaiser, Katie Theed, Quinn Trussell, and Camilla Vall. Our faculty advisor is Jeff Murr. Our clients are Brian Williams and Paul Quick. Let's move on to our agenda for today. We're going to review our problem statement, a summary of client needs and wants, project goals, project summary and overview, concept breakdown, concept comparison, and next step. Let's look at our problem statement. Design a puzzle box in order to provide enrichment to the animals at Denver Zoo's Predator Ridge. The puzzle box should ideally have several levels of difficulty and be constructed in a way that allows use of the device by all the animals of Predator Ridge. Next up is client needs. It's important to design a puzzle box for safety and durability so the animals are not getting hurt. And the purpose of this puzzle box is to provide a noticeable enrichment for the animals at Predator Ridge. It needs to be easy to clean, and it should also be user-friendly for the keepers and the curators to operate, or if they need to repair any of the parts on the puzzle box. They also would like to see multiple integration of puzzles in one puzzle box and several testable prototypes. It should be an easy setup and storage of the device, and the puzzle box should be designed appropriately for lions, wild dogs, and hyenas. Clients' wants, so let's see. The desires outside of the project scope is for the puzzle box to be floatable so they can use it with the sea lions as well as the bears. They would also want to see some creative and unique shapes of the puzzle box as well.
So the goals of our puzzle box is something that can be used by the animals of Predator Ridge at the Denver Zoo. We are aiming to make it durable, safe, and to provide that noticeable enrichment to the target animals, which would be the lions, the hyenas, and the wild dogs. The constraints for our project is in size. It can be no wider or taller than 24 by 24, and in weight, it can be no more than 50 pounds. Our cost for our individual puzzle box is less than $4,000, including any prototypes beforehand. And safety is a very key concern to keep the animals safe. Our durability goal is easy repairs and basic functionality for at least 2 years. The stakeholders for our project include the keepers at Predator Ridge, as well as the curators over the animals we are targeting. The animals are also considered stakeholders: the hyenas, the wild dogs, and the lions. The visitors at the Denver Zoo are also considered, as they may be seeing the puzzle box in use. Paul Quick and Brian Williams are both also stakeholders, as they are the main client. Our Puzzle Masters team is also considered a stakeholder, as well as our project advisor, Jeff Muir.
All right, for a quick overview of what we currently have going for our design, we're going to use a rotomolded HDPE cylinder. We hope to reinforce that with an aluminum frame to try and reinforce some of the edges as well as vulnerable spots from the hyena bites. The cylinder will be incorporating several puzzles, and those puzzles will have varying levels of difficulty, so they can be used by the multiple animals with multiple kind of personality and problem-solving types of Predator Ridge.
All right, so we've developed a couple of concepts so far as we've just looked at the client needs, and this was our first initial concept. So it's more of a modular design, which has one general bottom piece. You can see it in Puzzle 3. It's that little aluminum cylinder at the bottom. But there are 3 different puzzles that slid into that aluminum cylinder to adjust the amount of puzzles that we have and the difficulty. Excuse me. So our first puzzle that we developed can be seen in Puzzle 1. It's the maze. So this, we were thinking you could put some kibble in, and the animals would roll it around, and the kibble would make its way through the maze through those openings that we have. This is a cutaway view, so it would be a full cylinder, and then the kibble would fall out the bottom for them. The second one we have is a drawer concept. So we have a little buoy type thing on the end of a rope, and the rope is attached to a drawer that fits inside of a cylinder, and when the animals pull on that buoy or rope or whatever, the cylinder would come out and there would be food or a reward within this, the drawer would come out and there would be food or a reward within the drawer. And then our third puzzle, I described it as a meat pin. So basically this pin has meat attached to it at the very bottom. It's pointed at the bottom, and then if the animal pulls on that ring shape that we have, the stopper that you can see in the second level would stop the pin from coming fully out, but the meat would fall off the pin and fall out the bottom for the animals to get.
Okay, our second concept includes the same puzzles as the first concept, but in this case we only wanted one plastic cylinder. So you can see that the plastic part is the upper left, and then there'd be an aluminum frame that goes around each of the puzzles. We'd have two different base caps so that the drawer wouldn't be able to pull fully out like it did in Design 1. And this would make it easier for storage because you only have one big piece in a frame rather than three big pieces in the frame. Our third concept is similar to the second concept, except this one we wanted it to be able to operate fully on a horizontal plane instead of having to be vertical. So you can see the maze in the upper left, it works when they roll it instead of having to hang it. And in this case, that piece would be made out of aluminum or something and would pull fully out, and then you could put the drawer and the pin in separately. This also has two end caps and a metal frame.
So comparing these first three initial concepts that we have, there's a couple of things to consider. So the number of parts is important due to manufacturing and how easy it is for us to build it. So they're all pretty similar. Concept 2 does have one less part though, so it would be slightly easier. The zoo mentioned that they don't have a lot of storage and there's limited storage space. So we want to make sure that our design does not take up too much storage. Because Concept 1 has three distinct puzzles within three different cylinders, it does take up the most storage. Concept 2 is the smallest because all of those puzzles were integrated into one single cylinder. And then Concept 3 is the second smallest just because it gets a little larger than Concept 2. For the weight, we do have a 50-pound maximum, as mentioned earlier, just for the keepers to be able to lift and move into the enclosure. So Concept 1 is the lightest because all the puzzles are separate, and they just get progressively heavier through our concepts. So that would be something we would need to address as we move forward. It is also important that it's easy to clean our designs. So because of the maze structure, that's why Concept 1 and 2 are the hardest to clean, and Concept 3 gets easier because parts are removable and the maze just has easier access for the water to get down for the keepers to clean. For the ease of setup, Concept 1 and 2 are pretty similar and slide right. Concept 1 at least slides right into the aluminum base, so it's very easy to set up. Concept 3 does get slightly harder though with the adjustments we've made. And then we were also talking about the vertical requirements or the vertical aspects of the puzzles that we have, and this might be an issue for some of the animals and just the space they have in the animal enclosures. So we looked at that, and Concept 1 and 2 do have those two hanging puzzles that were mentioned previously, but we addressed that concern in Concept 3, so that does get better. So there are positives and negatives to all designs that we've come up with. So we'll have to add all of those to adjust them to better suit the client needs.
So building off the three designs we have right now, we have a few things we'd like to kind of look at going forwards. We do believe that the best kind of path for us would be to incorporate multiple puzzles into one device right now. And so our goal would be to kind of iterate this idea until we find a design that really encompasses all of the client needs in a device that will work for years to come. We'd also like to look at some more materials, kind of see what plastics, different metal combinations are out there, kind of swap out components and see if we can find a combination that will be cheaper or lighter, easier to produce, or more durable, kind of expand the lifetime of the product. And we would also like to design and develop a prototype for testing with the animals very soon so that we can gather more data on what the animals will like to see in their lives and what can provide the greatest enrichment. That's all we have right now for our preliminary design. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Hannah Deal. And if not, we will address them in our phone call next week. Thank you.